I'll call to order the February 3rd, 2014 meeting of the Ascension Drainage District. Madam Secretary, please note that Councilman Turner, Councilman Lohr, and Councilman Malonson are absent at this time. Would everyone stand for the invocation given by Councilman Shakespeare, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, we want to thank you for all the good things you've given us in Ascension Parish. Especially thankful for allowing us to get through these bad weather events without any serious injuries or mishaps. And thanks so much to all the people that prepared so well for them. We'd like to thank you for having a great holidays season and looking forward to a good spring in this parish. And as a special intention, we'd like to keep in your prayers and your mind Miss Carol LeBlanc, Banana LeBlanc's wife, who passed away recently, and we'd like to keep her and their family in your prayers. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Kent. Just want to let everybody know, public comment period. Anybody wishing to speak on an agenda item, please sign in with the secretary, and you'll be given time to speak when that agenda item comes up. Right now, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the January 13th, 2014 meeting.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion by Ms. Cazzo, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. And with Chairman's report tonight, it's basically short and sweet. I want to take this time and maybe give the parish president time to speak and take this time to thank everybody, Alan, everybody in the drainage department, and also everybody at DPW worked hand in hand out there on the road for a couple of days and a couple of nights, and sanded bridges, sanded curves, put up roadblocks, and really worked hard and shored up everything. And a large portion that was state highways and things, but made it at least somewhat passable for the emergency services and some of the people that had to get around in Ascension Parish. Mr. President?
I also want to thank all of our people that came out to work. We had split shifts, 2 12-hour shifts, and we manned it around the clock. I did receive a really nice email today from DOTD commending the parish for working together with them, and that, as always, it's been a great team effort, and thanking everyone. Even the sheriff was very grateful, said that our folks worked very well with his folks, and so anyway, it was a good effort. We got through it unscathed. I think we were prepared well, and I think the Friday before gave us a little bit of a warning as to what we needed to do and some insight into what really needed to be done. So anyway, it was I can't say a good event, but from a standpoint of the way everything worked out, it was a good event, and I appreciate all of our workers and everyone else that was involved for the collaborative effort that was put forth. I also want to say, I don't know if you were going to say anything about the Senate, but go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, sir. You can go ahead. We won some small battles with Bigger Water Act in the reform and the Common Sense bill to try to put some delays on that till everybody can take a look at it. And we've got a hard fight in front of us, and it continues on. So I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody, it's just, I sent out one text, and and seriously, there was a very nice home in right there in Todd's district that belonged to a guy that he and I grew up with, and the guy that was trying to buy it was in my district with another very nice home that never flooded, and one guy can't sell his house. So it's pending. It killed the sale of the next house, and because the people just can't afford or had sticker shock. Put it to you that way. I don't know what they can afford or not. They had sticker shock at the flood insurance rates. We've been talking about this and pushing for a year, and all this delegation, all the elected officials in the state for sure, and south central area anyway, and southeast. And you know, a lot of people just didn't realize that this was going to come home. I'll go ahead and repeat. You know, I had a birthday the other day, and I'm going to tell you what. This is the first time in my life, and I'm in my late 50s, that this is the worst legislation that I know that just came directly to hit people. Worse than any tax law that's ever been passed that I know of. Mr. President.
The only thing, Randy, the people that you were talking about, I don't think even with this amendment are going to be helped, because if you sell your house, it's going to still be the same thing. They're going to have to go to the new rates. It's only for those that have a house in the flood zone now and will be able to stay in that house.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sold any business or any house, you're still going to end up having to pay the new rates. So, again, I think that somebody needs to look at that, and if you're going to devalue someone's property to that effect, you need to be compensated in some kind of way, shape, form, something. Either that or you don't pay any taxes on it anymore because it's not worth anything.
Well, what we're working on, and Mr. Rude's going to give a little bit on it there coming up on his report, is basically some proactive moves. I know that was to try to, you know, get some certifications on some levies and try to get some kind of compensation for the people in the protected areas in Ascension Parish. Madam Secretary, real quick, please note that Councilman Turner's here. And that's all I got. We'll move along to agenda item number 6, Mr. Rude's drainage report.
I don't have too much to report from the last meeting. It's only a couple of weeks ago. I do want to say that the public comment period for the Conway Panama project, as far as the coastal permit, ended last week, I think middle of last week. We're expecting, I talked to Jake a few minutes ago, and we're expecting something from the coastal zone this week, you know, within a week. We've both been putting in emails and calls to the Corps of Engineers, and our contact at the Corps, I think, is on vacation, coming back maybe tomorrow, and hopefully we can get some kind of information from the Corps exactly where we stand with their permit. So hopefully we know something toward the end of this week, one way or the other, on that project. We are proceeding with very quickly with the permit applications for the other big projects that I went through at the last meeting. I have a meeting this week, Thursday, concerning the Frog Bayou project for us, operational plan, and be able to put our pipes under the road and get it operational in case we need to rent pumps again. And again, it's an operational plan we want to get accepted by the Corps. So if we get to that situation, all we have to do is issue a notice to the Corps that we are activating the pumps, and that should all it take. So I have a meeting again Thursday with the Corps on that project. Signed some permit applications on several other projects. Goudin is one that we're getting ready to send to the Corps, which is going to be a big project, taking it from 73 all the way to New River. And we could be submitting those permits within 2 weeks probably. Now it can probably take 6 months, you know, to get the permits. At least we're on our way to having some major projects ready to start working on by the summer, I hope, or fall. And thereafter, we shouldn't never stop, because we can have other permits en route to the Corps, and they last for 5 years. So once we get it going, we'll have a number of projects on hand, ready to get started without having to wait for a Corps permit.
Thank you. Councilman Cazzo.
Bill, months and months ago, we began to discuss Frog Bayou. And in fact, over a year ago, we had some real strong discussions about it and met with those folks in the Ridge Road area. And I think it's gotten complicated by what was an honest effort to involve the PLD. I appreciate the chairman's efforts to do that. I think that it could be the right thing to do. But I've shared with Randy, and he and I agree that it might not be the right thing to do. And so what is in your opinion, what's the right thing to do? And what are we looking at time-wise? I mean, I'm absolutely happy about a holistic approach to this flood swamp problem, but I'm more concerned about the timeline and the people who live on the ridge and how we fix their problem. If we can do both at the same time, fine. If we can have some effect on Iberville at the same time that we are fixing the things for our citizens, then I certainly would not strongly object to that. But I'm concerned about the timeline. How complicated is it going to be, and can we move forward on our own, or make a decision at some point to move forward on our own to take care of our folks? Because the timeline on taking care of creating a holistic approach is just too long.
Chairman Cluart and I met with Les Wagensback, who was was part of the project to bring Iberville into it with the PLD and put together a plan that would have to do with projects within Iberville Parish, Alligator Bayou locks, and Frog Bayou locks. And I think we got our point across, and Mr. Cluart can jump in any time. Got our point across to them that we need an agreement with PLD on what we're going to do in our parish. And for them to, if they can resolve an issue with Iberville Parish, fine, but we need something done now. And if not, then we're going to proceed on our own. I think there should be some type of agreement presented to us very shortly on how they want to proceed. And again, what we told them, and Mr. Cluart told them actually, was that if what we need to do is within our parish, we can get done in a short time. If they're able to participate and put up money or whatever, we'd be glad to take it. But we have to proceed immediately with benefits to our people in Ascension Parish. What we're looking at basically is, right now we agreed on an 8x8 box, additional 8x8 box on under Alligator Bayou Road, in addition to the 6x6 that's already there. Place the pipes underground, under the road, so we can pump if necessary, like we had to do a year ago. Do a channel improvement of Frog Bayou all the way to Ridge Road, and that's mostly maintenance more than anything else, clearing it. Do a enlargement and a modification of the ditch along Ridge Road so the water can get out to Frog Bayou. Do a cut in the ridge behind the south side, I think, of Ridge Road so the water can get out of a troubled area, the problem area behind Mr. Brown's house. So this is basically the things that we need to do within our parish. And again, hopefully they'll be coming back with an agreement with PLD to participate with that project. Even though they may have a bigger project, Iberville, at least we may even do two agreements. Agreement to do this first, let's go ahead with our permitting. And if they decide to do something on the other side with a pumping station or dredging, do it as a separate permit so they don't hold us back.
I thank you both so much for pursuing this in that direction.
And to say a timeline, we're hoping that we can have a permit to do stuff on our side within 6 to 8 months. You know, to be realistic, I've got to get some kind of design going. But basically, it's not much construction except for the locks, the 8x8 box, and that's a minor issue because it's already existing box. And maintenance dredging and a couple cuts and a few things like that. It's almost maintenance work. So I'm hoping in 6 months that we can have a plan put together and have a permit to be able to do that work at least.
Would it be possible in next month's drainage meeting for us to see some maps and lay this out as a plan, depending, of course, on what kind of resolution you've had with the PLD, so that the folks back on the ridge can see what we're talking about and have some input? Certainly they'll reach out to me and perhaps even to you, as most of them know you well, and we'll know what they're thinking about the direction in which we're headed. But I know that they will be very grateful that this is moving forward at a pace that does not involve permitting that takes years. Thank y'all so much.
And just to summarize that meeting we had last Thursday is when I called the meeting, Bill and I, that the original concept of the Pontchartrain Levee District was, asked for a $2.5 million match from Ascension Parish, $2.5 million match from Iberville Parish, and they estimated a $12 million project that they would come up with the remaining balance of the funding between their sources or CPRA or some other source. Since then, we do know that Iberville Parish, had put out an RFQ to look at, actually installing a pumping station at Alligator Bayou. Install pumps at Alligator Bayou. And I think within 2 weeks ago, the waters kind of got a little muddied about what all is the total project, So, that's one of the things we want to clear up and identify that the things that we want for Ascension Parish right now is the Frog Bayou improvements. We identified down to the detail, everything we wanted on the Frog Bayou improvements. And, Les Wagstack with CB&I is looking at that and coming back to us and seeing, we asked that be put into a project on its own.
Thank you so much.
Or either be phase one of any larger project.
Can I ask another question? So the Iberville's plan to put locks on Alligator Bayou, or pumping station at Alligator Bayou, how do I reassure my folks on Frog Bayou and in the Little Swamp that is not going to adversely affect them?
Anything, if they put pumps or additional, I think the old PLD plan or Shaw plan showed they were going to put an extra 8x8 box in there. Anyway, and also the dredging of Alligator Bayou all the way up to Bro Bayou was part of their plan. Anything they do on Alligator Bayou would benefit our people, period. So everything they have planned will only help and cannot hurt our people. Now, having said that, the only thing that would upset us was if they go with one big plan to do that work with the pumping station and our work, is to get hung up in the permit process, because that's a much bigger project to engineer, much bigger project to permit, and it would stall the whole thing for a couple of years probably.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't want to really get into that. If we do anything, do a two-phase, where we do ours first and immediately, and then they can do whatever they want on their phase. But we can't wait and put it all into one plan. It just takes too long.
I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you. Not only, on behalf of my constituents back there, I appreciate that approach. Thank you.
One of the key things that PLD could assist us in is land acquisition. Yes, Mr. President.
I kind of disagree with Bill. If you put a pump station there, similar to what we had, you'll start getting a lot of calls from the people in Mr. Satterley's district and also Mr. Lowe's district, because the water's going to rise very quickly, depending on the size of the pump. So you have to certainly take that into consideration. So there could be some adverse effects if you put too big a pump there.
It could be. And again, it goes back, like the Parish President said, the size pumps. And to take it from another side, I don't think they'll get permitted, to be honest with you. They can try and try and try, but that's a major hurdle to get that permitted because of opposition from East Baton Rouge Parish and our parish further down. So I'd rather not get involved. If they go for that, let them do it on their own.
Right.
I don't ever think it's going to get permitted to begin with.
It's one of the main things that came to light, and that we're working in a different direction. But we do want to maintain, and Bill's put together a pretty good operating plan for our Frog Bayou to let us use those emergency pumps. We're not going to purchase the pump. We want to put the pipes in there for emergency situation when we have water that's staying in that Bluff Swamp area, and we have a rain event when even when Manchac is high and we can't flow out. And that's I think that we've got a good basic plan put together and shooting the details, and I think that can be permitted.
I thank you both again. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One thing, Bill, glad you mentioned Mr. Brown's place. Will there be a control structure back there, or are you just going to let it free flow?
Free flow. And we did an analysis of it, and basically it's his property will not get any more water than he gets now on a major high water event, because it just crosses over and fills up. The problem he has is that once it fills up and starts subsiding, it can't get out because the ridge holds it back. and it has no other way to get out. So this would solve that problem, which is his main problem.
And that relief will go to
Alligator
Bayou. Okay, keep that in mind. So,
Thank you.
anybody else? Anything else, Mr. Rue?
That's all my report, sir.
All right. With that being said, we move on to agenda item number 7, authorization request for qualification, engineering, usage, and FEMA levy certification. Mr. Rue.
Yeah, at present time, like we just indicated, the chairman's report is that we don't get any benefit from the levies that we have. And what we want to do is get assistance from engineering firm to actually aid us in 2 things. Number one, getting a core certification of our levies. And also, if we're not able to get a full certification, to help us get some kind of benefit through FEMA, acknowledgement of our levies and some kind of benefit for us, fees, FEMA insurance rates and stuff like that. So we're asking to advertise for a request for qualifications for that engineering.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Dempsey Lambert,
Second.
second by Ms. Terry Cazzo. Any discussion? Yes, Todd Lambert.
Yeah, wouldn't this also help with our pumping stations as far as trying to get benefits from
Yes,
them
sir.
also?
Yeah.
Not just levy systems,
Right.
but also the pumping stations
Mhm.
that's
Pumping
really
station.
saving a lot of people and, doing a lot of, even the new one, the Henderson Bayou
That's right.
pumping station is gonna benefit a lot of people. All the
Absolutely.
way to Galvez Cross 44, you know.
Absolutely. And part of the process is that the engineering firm will, we have to get, first thing we have to get deficiencies of the levy system as per core certification, and lobby with the core, to the core of getting in writing exactly what we have to do to get it certified. Because a lot of times you don't have to go with a full-blown certification like you're building a brand-new levy right now, because it's been in place for so many years. But if you can iron out the deficiencies and negotiate with the Corps exactly what has to be done, then that can be laid out, and then we can get to work on fixing those deficiencies. At the same time, you go and lobby to the FEMA, and Lafourche Parish and several other parishes doing it right now to try to get a benefit from existing levies, through FEMA. And this is all done by the same firm that we're going to hopefully
I think
get.
it'd be a very well spent money doing this, because they would help so many constituents out there and, your flood zone areas, because it'd help on this insurance increase that we're fixing to have on them.
That's it.
Be a big plus. Appreciate it.
Not only that, Todd, that's a good point, but we also, the firms that we're looking at, they have success in this. They got case histories of successfully doing it. And,
That's all.
that's all. No further discussion, any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move to agenda item number 8. Approval of increase of USGS contract for river gauges, East Ascension EA District cost share of $44,200. Mr. Rue.
Yes, sir. Now, I made a mistake when I put this on the agenda. It actually just should read approval of the contract with USGS. This is our annual contract. They did say in the letter that accompanied the contract that there will be an increase in 2015. But
Okay.
this $44,200 is the same that we paid last year. So it's no increase, but we do need approval of the board.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Ms. Terry Cazzo. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Shake Snyder.
Yeah, real quick, this is a great thing, for people, and you get real-time river gauges, but the last couple of times we've been trying to get on the gauges and on the computer and couldn't really do it. The whole system, has it changed the process to get on? Okay, well, I'll
No, sir.
just come by and visit with you.
I got on it, I guess 3 or 4 weeks ago was the last time I was on it.
Okay, well, I'll get with you. There might have been.
And sometimes it does go down and they have some problems because it's all by satellite. But for most part, it hasn't changed.
Okay, I could get them individually, but you couldn't get the whole range of them. Okay.
Is there anybody in particular with the parish that other than yourself, that if somebody does have trouble, that they could call to kind of ask?
I tell you what,
GIS department, anybody?
I can talk to IT department, and we probably can put it, a link to it on our, if we don't have it already, link on our website to get to the USGS site.
Yeah.
That'd be the easiest way to work
I
it.
think the link is changed from what I had, but I mean, I use it regularly.
It'll be easy to put a link, IT to do that, you know,
Great
without any
thing.
problem.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sadler.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bill, just to be sure, for the record, we're gonna stay at the same amount of funding on the parish side. The federal government's cutting back a little bit. They're reading a letter in the packet due to, the sequestration situation we had, about 5%. But even though they don't have the same amount of funding, they're gonna provide the same amount of services
This year.
this year.
Now, next year, they're looking at possibly increasing it next year, but they're gonna try to hold it down.
Increasing budget and our services?
Our share might increase next year. Now, they were cut this year, but they absorbed that cut themselves.
But whatever they do in reading these gauges and what have you, they can still perform at that same
Oh,
level
yes.
of service. So that means the federal government has some money that they didn't really need there.
Or they
I
got
don't
more
guess you wanna
efficient.
comment on that, do you?
They got more productive or efficient at what they're doing, I guess,
Okay.
doing it with less people.
But we're not paying anything more than we normally do in this
Just
arrangement.
the same cost we paid last year. They did go up last year, about 5% or 3% or something like this. And then possibly looking at going up a few percent next year on our share. But that remains to be seen. We have to wait and see what the contract says.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion adjourned by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any opposition? We are adjourned.